Hello, welcome to Grandpa's Workshop. I'm Loz, and as always, you're welcome in the workshop. So it's been a while, and for the hardcore grumpies that might be watching, I just thought I'd give you an update on where I've been and what's been happening. Shares grumpy. Well, August, I actually managed to tick off one of my bucket list things that Nana Sue and I didn't manage to do while she was here. So she was with me in spirit, and we did a Norwegian Fjords cruise with Fred Olsen. That went from the Edinburgh ferry terminal, so I had to get the train up there, spend overnight, and then get the ship from there. It was a week. We had good crossings both ways, and I got to see the fjords and the mountains and the waterfalls and the trolls. There were trolls there as well. Very interesting. I'm glad I did it. Cruising, nah. Unfortunately, I chose the main dining room, so it had two formal nights, so I had to get my monkey suit out. Knock all the cobwebs off. That wasn't really my scene, but good time was had by all. And then back here, I've been finishing off, and I'll explain what's happening to your right down the length of the shed. The reason for the delay is the fact I've had a bit of a health crisis. I won't go into it too much for the squeamish, but it entailed my BPH and my UTI and a 2 a.m. visit to urgent care where I was struck and they put a tap on me to solve the problem, which I've still got. There you go. I've had prostate trouble for over a decade, and I've managed with one tablet. It looks like it's now gonna need some more. So I've got another nurse's visit next week to see how I'm doing, and we'll see how we go. Upshot of it is, I've had 2 infections, 2 courses of antibiotics, lots of cream, and I'm still struggling. Let's move on. So what am I doing? I'm getting closer to having the shed the way I want it. I'll show you in a bit. But basically, I've got the Schulberg's Nordic workbench on my left, your left, my left, kiss about. Whatever. Under the window for working, and then I can turn it at right angles for the filming on the bench, which is good. Down the full length of the workshop, and I'll show you this. I decided I wanted a full continuous worktop down the full length of the workshop with the router is now in the middle, so I had plenty of flexibility, and a full length of nearly 12 feet of workbench along the wall. I've got my trend workshop router table which goes in the middle, and rather than make carcassing or shelving, I went the cheap and cheerful. I got a batch of 6 450mm wide kitchen base units, the cheapest I could get, which came and bit me on the bum, but I'll explain that shortly. So cheap and cheerful kitchen base units, and then a 3 metre length of 26mm beech block worktop that I'm going to eventually have the same height as the router table, so it's continuous. I got the base units, I think, from B&Q, and the worktop from YIKES. I'll post the images up there, and it's in place. I've had a bit of a problem, which you'll see. I chose 3 450mm wide because they seem to fit in with the overall length and the router table. Problem was, now I'm in the shed's not quite square and vertical. The kitchen units are cheap and cheerful, so I think I'm going to have to just track saw a little bit off each side of the trend router table top. We'll see when we're finished. I'll show you. I chose the 450 as well because I'm able to fit most of my benchtop workshop tools. I've got the little miter saw, a scroll saw, my Bosch pillar drill, my trend bobbin sander and a disc and belt sander, as well as my sharpening tools and some storage boxes. I'll show you that. So it's in place. I had an awful lot of trouble, particularly the one to the left of the router table. That was the first one I assembled. I glued it. It's only held together with little white metal camlock dowels and wooden dowels. So I glued them all together, and so I could get them all nice and neat and to the right height, I screwed them together. And then it turns out that the 3 base units together, when I'm lifting and moving it, is A, just a little bit too heavy for me, and B, too heavy for itself, and it all fell apart. So on the left hand side I've had to put a load of little angle brackets to keep the carcass together, and I snapped off a leg as well, pushing it into the corner, so that I took a chunk of the MDF base of the unit off, so that had to be glued. So it's more or less in place. It needs a final lifting and levelling and a bit cut off the sides of the router table so it all fits nice and neatly and snug, and I think the job's going to be a good one. So you've seen it as I've been talking. 7 minutes, I'm just bushed. The infections and the antibiotics, actually, I think having 2 lots of antibiotics back to back has really knocked the gubbins out of me, but I'm making progress. We've had an awful lot of really wet weather, and now it's dry, so I can put the furniture on the deck away for the winter, and I can finish this off. The idea is not to have a cluttered workshop here. I've got a shed and I've got a garage, so that's ongoing. I've got the big Inca attachments on the Axminster table saw and the bandsaw, and I'm just having those 2 in the garage. So lots of space to work, lots of space to do things. So that's it. I thought I'd keep you up to date. You were due a while back to have an update. I'm just sorry I've had no energy, but I'm getting better. I've actually been out in the sun today, been to the gym for the first time in months. So job's a good one. I'll catch you again. I've got some little show and tells to do because I'm behind in showing you my heritage tool collection that I've been building up. That's going to be minimalist. I'm addicted to all the tool haul channels. Tool addict, you want to watch Blethers from the shed. I like to see his little things as he buys and sells and does things up. That's to stop me going down the same route. I watch the YouTubers so I don't have to, and I'm aiming for a minimalist set of traditional tools that I can pass on. That's the plan. First one I think is hammers and then chisels. They'll be coming shortly. I've spent 2 minutes blethering. You don't have to watch everything. Good to see you. Tell me how you're doing. And I'll crack on. Stay safe in the workshops. See you soon.